Everybody's going through something. Everybody's going through something. Do I have sound? Can somebody let me know before I dive into this very, very important topic around the psychology of weight loss? I am so thankful that you are here. Now, before I dive in, I'm going to encourage you to get a sheet of paper. I want you to get a pen or a pencil. I get a pen because, a pencil, you may lose it. You don't want to be erasing what I'm going to be sharing. And if you can record it, I record it. But you can also go to our YouTube page. Just go to the YouTube page. Make sure you like, subscribe, so that whenever we upload information like this, you can watch it at your convenience. So talk to me. Can you hear me? And then we're going to dive in, and I'm going to share with you something that can help you not only in avoiding the likelihood of you gaining weight back, but it's something that you can use in many other parts of your life. Okay, so let's get it. Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody's at the door. Amy Prime's in the house. Hello. Susan Rogers, where you at, girl? Cheryl from Australia, how you feeling? Can you guys hear me? Yay, you can hear me. Oh my goodness. Technology can be such a headache. Okay. Oh, so let me ask you guys, if you can hear me loud and clear, I'm going to ask the question. The question is, why do you think people who lose weight, whether it's 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, gain it back? Seriously, without even thinking about it, just post in the comments. Why do people gain the weight back? Right? We've all seen it, and maybe it's happened to you. Right? I just want to hear. I just want to hear. I just want to hear. Okay. Has it ever happened to you? Now, I'm going to share with you my reason, and I believe whatever your reasoning is would be correct. I think we all are correct when it comes to this. But I'm going to share with you part of the psychology of why I believe I've seen it time and time again. And this is something that we teach our coaches. And this is a great exercise to do with your friends or with yourself. Okay. Cheryl says complacency. Some people say they're holding back. They go back to bad habits. They lose motivation. Ooh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. So I did this exercise with one of my clients this morning. Like I have clients I've been coaching for years. Like I have a few clients over 20 years. This client I've been working with for like 5 years. And it's not just about losing weight. That's where a lot of people totally miss it. They will give up on themselves and, well, I'm just having a hard time this way. I just feel bad every time I talk to my coach, and but they're missing the fact that you can be learning something every time you get with your coach. That's where the power is, and that's what I'm going to share with you right now. So, with my client, she is a school teacher, and so I asked her. I said, "Hey, how do you define self-esteem?" And she gave me her definition. I said, well, a short definition is how much you love yourself. And we both agreed, okay, that's self-esteem. And then I said, the thing that makes up our self-esteem is every self-concept in our life. And she was like, what do you mean? I said, well, your self-concept is how you see yourself, like how you see yourself. So I said, you have a self-concept of how you see yourself as a parent. You may be disciplined, you may be loving, but you have your own view of how you see yourself as a parent. And I said, you're a school teacher, and she's very proud school teacher. And I said, okay, so as a school teacher, on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being like the pinnacle, the top, how do you see yourself? She goes, a 9. I was like, all right then. And I said, but why a 9? Why not a 5? Like, what do you do that puts you in a position where you're a 9? She says, I always follow through. I'm responsible. I'm prompt. I will stay up late at night to make sure those grades are taken care of. I do everything possible, Robert. I go above and beyond the call of duty as a teacher, and I give them love. I'm caring. I mean, she went on and on. I was just writing them all down to support why she gave herself a 9. Now, as my client, my goal is to put her in a position where as she continues to lose the weight and we don't gain it back, this exercise really comes in handy. So I said, in the area of nutrition, on a scale of 0 to 10, how do you see yourself? And she went, about an 8, 8.5. I go, really? You see yourself as an 8? I said, that's pretty close to 9. 9, 8, that's pretty close. I said, so what you're telling me, if you give yourself an 8, that you follow through all the time, you stay up, you prep, you come through, you're prompt, you go the extra mile, and I start building off of what she already said was a 9. I'm comparing how she sees herself with nutrition. And as I was going, she goes, okay, maybe not an 8, maybe like a 7, 6.5. I go, that seems to make more sense. And now this isn't an exercise to make her feel bad, because I'm about to share with you why people gain the weight back. So I asked her, I said, what could you do to go from a 6.5 to a 7 on how you see yourself with nutrition? And she said, could you give me an example? Like, is there something that you could share with me on how you see yourself and how it helped you? I said, yeah, I'm gonna give you that example. But I said, well, what could you do? She goes, I could definitely drink more water. I said, so can you work on that so that you see yourself as always being hydrated? She goes, absolutely. And I said, years ago, when trans fats were in foods and products, I learned a lot about how horrible trans fats were, and I couldn't see myself eating a trans fat. So whenever I came across a trans fat, if something had a trans fat in it, I couldn't see myself eating that. Absolutely no way. I just couldn't see myself eating a trans fat. I couldn't. And she was starting to get the point. And I said, this is what happens to most people. They go on a diet and they lose the weight. Let's say it's Wegovy or one of these drugs, right? The drug is helping them to lose the weight, and they really just want to lose the weight because they want to be small. But they never ever upgraded how they saw themselves with nutrition. That means they still see themselves the way they saw themselves, and they're going to gain the weight back. See, as your weight comes down, you upgrade how you see yourself with nutrition. I don't see myself eating the foods that cause a lot of people to gain weight. I just don't. I don't see myself that way. Now, I didn't get there overnight. It was a matter of learning, applying. And so you upgrade how you see yourself with nutrition. As the weight comes down, you're less likely to gain the weight back. But if you didn't upgrade how you see yourself when it comes to activity and nutrition, you're going to gain the weight back. You were just on a diet. And this is where education about nutrition is king. When we've done our clinical trials, the people who were in these trials, one of the things they loved more than anything was how they learned about nutrition. And once they learned, they started applying, and they made some shifts in how they see themselves. Some people never even think about this. I watch people post food when they're focused on losing weight, and then you see something totally different when they're not losing weight. They are not upgrading how they see themselves. If you upgrade how you see yourself, then you got it. Like, I don't see myself drinking to oblivion. I don't see myself drinking alcohol where I'm falling down the stairs and all that. I don't want my kids to ever see it. No way. As a parent, I don't see myself doing that in front of my kids. And I don't see myself doing that as a human being. So do I like to have a drink? Absolutely. But not to where I'm going to see myself vomiting in the bushes like I did 30 years ago, right? Going to like a party at night and just having a blast. I don't see myself doing that anymore. So what I'm sharing is powerful. All of our self-concepts, how you see yourself as a parent, how you see yourself as a mom, as a friend, as you see yourself a certain way, you ask yourself, what could I do to move it up a notch? So even with our 8-week fat loss challenge, if you notice, it's not just, hey, don't eat this, like all the other diets that are out there. along the way, we're applying things, we're having fun, but at the same time, I'm teaching so that people have a better understanding of nutrition, how it works, how they can still make certain things taste the way they want it to taste, but yet it's healthier for them. They're upgrading their nutrition, which is helping them see themselves a little differently. Like I remember buying like a dozen donuts like years ago and eating all those donuts. I don't see myself ever doing that again. That's not part of who I am. I have upgraded how I see myself, and that's what you want to do. Think about it. Many of you who are catching this are clients of mine, or friends, or you've done our program. Think about how you may look at certain things differently today after you have had the experience with me or with other coaches or the Diet for Your Life methodology. Some people never eat certain things after they've experienced this because they don't see themselves eating something like that that will potentially cause the damages that it potentially can cause. If you do not upgrade how you see yourself, mentally nothing change. Your behavioral situation is still the same. That's why a person think about it. And I'm not beating up on keto or any other diet, but just think about it and tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Just let me know. If you're here live, great. Replay, just let me know. But think about this. Let's say you do keto. And with keto, you're basically eating fat, protein, very little carbohydrates. And you're losing weight, but you ain't learned nothing. You haven't learned anything about gut health. You have not learned anything about the right way to exercise for your situation, your age, etc. You have not learned anything about how to combine foods. You just see yourself going through this to lose weight, but you still see yourself eating certain things. And guess what? You're going to go right back to eating certain things because you didn't upgrade how you see yourself. There are some people who can't even imagine not exercising. And I'm not saying that's what you do, but they're at a place where, oh no, I'm exercising. They see themselves exercising. They like that part about the exercise. They like how they feel. It's not about looking a certain way necessarily. It's about how they feel. And you get to that place where you see yourself exercising because you know how you want to feel. Then you can see yourself wearing certain clothes and not, jumping on the bed on your back, pulling the jeans on, and then walking around until they loosen up. Right? You may get to a place where you don't see yourself doing that again. Our self-esteem, in summary, is how much we love ourselves. And there's many self-concepts that come together that create that. And if you don't upgrade certain parts of your self-concepts, you will gain the weight back. Talk to anybody. That's why it just doesn't make sense. Why aren't we teaching people? It's like when we did the trials, education was what we put up front. I remember being in a room before we did the trial in Missouri, and there was 3 doctors that were representing Aetna Insurance. And I remember them, we're having a conversation, and they were like, okay, so we're talking about reversing childhood obesity. I said, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. And they said, okay, so we hear your philosophy is a little different than what we're thinking. I said, well, what are you guys thinking? And they said, well, we believe it's all about giving access, making sure people have access to fruits and vegetables, healthy foods. So we're big on like maybe having urban gardens and communities that make it possible for, and I was like, I think that's great. But where's the educational piece? Is it just, and now fast forward, here we are, 2023, working with these insurance companies. They're all talking about food as medicine and food prescription. Most of them don't even know the difference between the two. They're like one and the same. And then when you start saying, okay, so are you saying we're just going to make sure they have access to fruits and vegetables and just leave it at the door, or they open the door and they have it, and now they just got it? There's no education. There's no step-by-step. And that's why that's not working. But we have something that no one else has. It's called the diet-free life methodology. Yeah. So it's like, and part of that is not just learning how to combine foods in the right proportions and the right foods together. It's a whole bunch of other things that go with that. Remember, upgrade how you see yourself. Some people cannot see themselves eating salmon, and that's fine. Upgrade how you see yourself. Then you create behavioral change that's sustainable. Now, this may sound simple, and obviously we have a way of doing it, which I do believe is simple, but yet it took years to get to the place where we've made it this simple. That makes sense. So let me see. Tash says, I stopped buying snack size bags of chips for us and other processed snacks. I now eat fruit, nuts, or protein instead of. That's an upgrade. Okay. It may be an upgrade. I don't know how you see yourself. Right. So let's say you go on vacation or you're somewhere and you don't have, or you do have the fruits and the vegetables, the things you're eating now. But do you see yourself eating what you were eating? Do you see yourself watching a movie eating those chips? If you go, oh no, I don't see myself doing that. Okay, then I would say that's an upgrade. But you may be on the fence going, well, occasionally, what's the big deal? Okay. Like, I don't see myself eating Doritos. I don't. I'm not against them. My kids went through a phase where they wanted to test certain foods and I bought them. And I would have a bite of them here and there. But I don't see myself buying a bag, kind of like what you're saying, and knowing it's in the house, and then I'm just going to eat it. I don't see myself buying Oreo cookies. Now, does that mean I'll never eat an Oreo cookie? No. I just don't see myself buying them. Now, my kids were going through some stage, and they go, Daddy, I always wanted to eat those. Can you get some? And we'll get the smallest size so and they can have the experience. But I don't see myself eating that. I don't see myself smoking. I can't even imagine smoking. I'm not being judgmental on anybody, but when I close my eyes, I don't see myself in any scenario smoking. Does that mean maybe I could be in some situation where someone says, here, take a puff? I mean, I don't see that happening, but okay, if I did, I don't see myself smoking. So you evaluate your situation and what you do see about yourself, and that will tell you everything. Let me just look at a couple more things. Hey, Tanya Ward, I want to say I saw your post, Tanya, and I want to say I pray for you all the time, my friend. You are someone that I met years ago with Dr. Anderson, and you're someone that you just never forget. And I'm glad we have Facebook. This is an example why I'm happy we have Facebook, because I just thought the energy you brought to the table is always positive. You are so uplifting, very motivating, and you're just one of those people. And for years, when I would talk to Dr. Anderson, I would say, how's Tanya? How's Tanya doing? So you are one of those people. So I appreciate you. I really do. Susan says, never thought about as how I see myself. Yes, Susan. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself calling Robert anytime soon or scheduling a coaching session with me? Right. See yourself doing that and it will happen. Okay. And I'm going to end on this quote by Mahatma Gandhi. And I'm glad I was able to share this information. I hope it's helpful for some of you. I really do. But Mahatma Gandhi once said, be the change you want to see in the world. If we all be the change we want to see, okay, that's a great start, because that helps me a lot. Like, I have these moments, man, where my mental health is being challenged, and then I just look at my little kids and I'm re-energized. And like Tosh, who posted here, let me tell you this, Tosh, And I've shared the story about my mom, and I don't have the time to do it right now. But I did watch my mom lose a lot of weight, and I watched her do some things that will be with me forever. It made me want to be better. And when people talk about being a parent and with their kids, they'll say things like, just tell them, get them this, get them that. The biggest thing we could do is be what we want them to ultimately be led by. And what I mean by that is when a parent loses weight and they go the extra mile to be as healthy as possible, and they work on themselves, even if your kid isn't doing it, we know psychologically that kids will always do, for the most part, what they see way more than what we tell them. You can tell them to eat healthy all day long. That philosophy of do as I say and not as I do, that's over. But there's still some people doing that. But when you walk it out and you step it up, they're watching. My 15-year-old, for whatever reason, I didn't think she was ever going to want to exercise. She likes to dance, and now I'm watching her like ask me for some heavier weights. I'm like, what? Because she sees her daddy exercising. She sees her mom exercising. And we're not telling her to go exercise. She just started doing it. A lot of what and there's a lot that I've been totally wrong, because there's no way you're going to know until you're a parent. But I've experienced this personally. I've seen it with other clients and their kids. When you go after it, when you go and do all the extra things that help you become healthier, you start, and keep the food tasting good. That's important. They will bring this up later. I'll end on this. I have a client named Sharon. So I'm not going to say Sharon's last name, but I'm sure she probably wouldn't care if I shared this. And I hope Sharon gets this, because I'm so proud of her. Sharon and I've been coaching her, I think, a couple years now, or close to it. And Sharon, she's down 100 pounds. She's still got some weight that she wants to lose. But there's a big part of her that wants to go swimming with her kids and not, be tied to not getting in the pool, because she would be embarrassed about her size and all that. And even though her kids are in their 40s, 30s, 40s, they're grown. What I hope she gets, and I believe she gets, I'm not saying she doesn't get it, but what I hope she really gets is that what she's doing now, even though they're not applauding and clapping every week, when she gets to her goal, because she's doing it for her, that will speak volumes to those grandkids. It will speak volumes to her kids. It will say everything. It doesn't matter that she didn't do it in her 40s or her 50s. What matters is that she never gave up, and she finally found something that makes sense. And I'm honored to be her coach. Honored. And I'm excited. I can't get too excited, because I don't want people to feel bad when they don't hit their goals. You know what I mean? There's a lot of dichotomous thinking out there and all that means is that the client will start to imagine or think they know how the coach is thinking. And oftentimes that'll cause that client to like, I'm not going to call this week, or I gained some weight. And they just beat themselves up, and they beat themselves out of really benefiting for the long term. That's why you really want to be humble when you're approaching this. And even if the weight's not coming off, just make it a goal to learn. If you see something on TV or hear about something in a magazine around nutrition, or you don't got to guess. When you have a session with your coach, ask. That's their profession. That's what they do. That's your time. And then you're more informed. And we know that when you're more informed, you're less likely to be led or influenced by those who are informed. Amen, people. Amen. All right. Anyway, it's time to go. And if you guys are on the fence, or if you know anybody who wants to be in a challenge, I mean, you can do the challenge at any time. But right now, we have a good group of people that are doing it. We're supporting each other. We're having fun. I'm having a blast. I'm doing it day by day, and as well as sharing. I'm having a blast. I'm watching my coaches have some of their clients come in, and it's really cool. It's really neat. Like, I mean, we used to do these things before the pandemic, and I'm really feeling the excitement of how we're all coming back together, or rallying in a way that the group is energizing each other to take it to the next level. So if you got questions, reach out. Other than that, thank you. You guys have a blessed evening. I'm Robert Ferguson, the guy who cares, and that's why I share. And if you want to learn more, go to dietfreelife.com. Always look at the links, but be sure to go over to our YouTube channel in case I don't publish this on Facebook, and that's where you are, or LinkedIn. It always goes up on YouTube. All right. So